Okay, so welcome to my video all about reframing. So I think a lot of people, especially when it kind of comes to self-belief, fitness, achieving their goals, they hold themselves back, or they think very negatively, and they speak in this language of what if I can't, what if I can't, what if this goes wrong, what if, all this sort of thing. So the whole thing with this is actually going to be how you can change that mindset for you to actually get out of your own way and get towards achieving the goals you want. And I'm going to go through my own version as we go through this so that you can see sort of how to do it, how I got past stuff in the past as well, and how I've kind of got to the position I'm in, not just fitness wise, but career, health, mindset, that sort of thing. Okay, so let's start off. So again, it's really looking at what it actually is, and there are going to be negatives, but there are going to be positives to sort of everything we do. So I'm not saying that everything we do is going to be flipped into a positive thing, but there are going to be positives to every situation, and there are going to be negatives to it. But it's up to you to figure out which side of things you kind of lean towards, if that makes sense. So, what is the thought? So a lot of the time it might be, what if I'm not good enough for a job? What if I'm not ready to do this? What if I'm not good enough to get into this team? What if I'm not smart enough to get this job role? What if I'm not experienced enough for, it's all these type of thoughts. What if this goes wrong? What if I mess up? What if I can't stick to it? What if it doesn't work? Like, all these things are the thoughts that are going to go into our head. So it may be, what if I can't lose weight? What if I sign up with a coach and it doesn't work? What if I do a course and I can't stick to it? What if I apply for a job and don't get it? Those are really the thoughts that are coming in. So what we need to then look at is we're having these thoughts, and we've got to look at what are, put it in at present. So we're going to look at what the facts are in this. And a lot of the time, we're almost going off of what we're projecting of ourselves into this situation. And that might be, okay, I haven't lost weight in the past, so I'm not going to manage it this time. But there's no fact to that. It's just past experience compared to, okay, I might not get this job because there's other applicants. That's a fact, right? But it's not a fact that you're not going to get it, or that you're not going to be good enough. So we've really got to look at, whenever there's a situation or a thought or anything that's kind of coming into our minds, it doesn't matter what it is. It's reframing it rather than going, oh, well, I'll just give up, or, oh, it's just not meant to be. It might be, but it's also looking at, things like job interviews. If you don't get the job, maybe it's just not right. Maybe you're not right for the role, and there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe the role isn't suited to you, which is also fine. Maybe it's not the right opportunity, and there's a better one around the corner. So I'm always looking at it like that, rather than being like, oh, I'm just going to give up on this whole thing because this one place turned me down, or this one girl maybe turned me down at a club, or on a dating site, so I'm never going to date again. Like, we don't do that. We just go, okay, I'll try the next one, and then I'll speak to someone else, and then I'll do this sort of thing. And then it's reframing it and going, okay, eventually that thing's going to pay off, and maybe the first number you get isn't your soulmate, but the next one might be, or the 100. Well, hopefully not 100, but down the line we're going to find that right fit. Okay, so that's how we want to look at this side of things. Okay, in a minute I'm going to go through an example of how I go about this as well. Okay, so as I said, what if it's flipping this? It's flipping the narrative, and what I want to do is almost go, what if it goes wrong? What if it goes right? What if I can't stick to it? What if I can stick to it? What if I go and speak to a member and they tell me to go away. Okay, that's fine. But what if they're like, oh my god, thanks so much. No one's ever spoken to me before. Let me pay you loads of money. There's a positive and a negative. So you've almost got to look at that line of where things are, compared to it just being like, well, that might never happen, right? It's like, what if I drive my car and crash it? Yeah, but it's unlikely. It might happen, but what if I don't? What if I buy a lottery ticket and don't win? Yeah, but what if you did? Like, it's a dramatic one, but there's going to be life-changing things or things that are really going to change your trajectory if you do it compared to if you don't. But it's also like, what if I don't get that job? Just apply for another one. That's what we really want to look at. So I'd literally write everything down, every thought, and being like, well, what if it doesn't? What happens if I'm successful here? What if I'm not successful here? And do that for everything. If you ever have a negative thought, be like, well, what if I leave the gym I'm working at? Okay, well, what's the repercussions of that? What are the positives of that? Okay, if I stay, what are the positives? What are the negatives? That sort of thing. And that will help you make decisions a lot quicker, rather than just thinking, oh, this is so negative. It's just pointless and a waste of energy to just think negatively all the time. So this is a really good thing to do. Okay. Then it's looking at, so the positive side of things. So, again, looking back at the same thing. I didn't get the job. Okay, so maybe the next one's going to be a better thing for you. Like, that's fine. What if you did get that job? Is it even something you wanted? I've personally gone to job interviews, trials, things like that, and been like, oh, I really wanted that job in the moment, and then I've come out of it like a day or so later and be like, that environment was awful. Like, my values didn't align with theirs, especially in terms of like training and how I view coaching as being a lot more compassionate, a lot more relatable, a lot more sympathetic for people. And the place I went for was like, our way or no way, and that's just not me. Like, I'm not a one size fits all type of person. So looking back, I was like, I'm very glad I didn't get that, because I wouldn't have aligned well with it, which probably wouldn't have left me very happy. Sort of thing. So again, the positive of this. What is the positive of my last relationship not working out? Okay, I get to be with my partner I'm with now, and the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Cool. That's a good thing. But at the time, it probably wasn't a good thing. But now, looking back, that sort of thing. So, looking at it in that essence can be quite powerful too. I think this is the most powerful thing you can do, personally, is look at what I can control and what I can't control. Okay, so people come in and it's, there are certain things we can control, certain things we can't. So if we know that we've got to drive to work every morning and we got to be work at 9, you're probably going to want to leave it a little bit longer for you to travel in due to rush hour. So you can control what time you leave, but you can't control how much traffic there's going to be. Make sense? You can't control if it rains, but you can control if you wear a coat or take an umbrella. Same as if it's too sunny, you can control what you wear, but you can't control that it's going to be hot that day. You can't control any of these type of things. So if there's ever a thought or a decision or whatever it is, you've got to write down, or at least think, okay, can I control the outcome of this situation? Can I control how I react to this situation? Can I control what other people think of me? No. Okay, cool. Can I control how people react to what I say? No. Can I control how I say something? Yes. Okay, cool. So then you've got to look at it and say, like, for example, I might put something out or say something and someone will say, well, I find that really offensive. Okay, so the reframe for me would be, well, did I say something offensive? In my mind, no, because it's something I believe. But what they took it as an offence. And there's a difference between something being offensive and taking offense to something. So you've almost got to say, okay, well, that probably just doesn't align with the type of person I want to have a conversation with. If that doesn't align, and if they're getting offended that easily, so another sort of thing. Compared to like, oh, but then if it's everything I say upsets someone, then I can probably control that. So looking at those sort of things. And then looking at the benefits. So if you end up in a bit of a shitty situation, it's then going, okay, at that moment in time, it's like, oh, world's falling apart. What's the point? I can't be bothered. But if you can then flip that and go, okay, the benefits of me, I don't know, being made redundant are this, and this, gives me more time with the kids, lets me go and do a job that I actually want to do, lets me have a bit of time out of that environment maybe, if it's a bit toxic or it's just not for you. Like, there's going to be benefits. And I'd just suggest writing a list of the things that are actually going to come of it, and that will help you make better decisions in the long term. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to run through a quick example. Okay, so we get rid of that one. So an example for me, right, real story. Last November, I believe it was, I got let go from my job. Okay, I'm technically self-employed, so I actually work for myself. So I don't actually get paid to be somewhere unless I'm paid by clients or whatever. So I was pretty much on top of the world at this place. I felt like I fitted in quite well with the team, which is very rare for me, strangely. And then one day got called in and they said, right, we're essentially going to let you go, sort of thing. It was really unexpected. And in the past, I could have just thought, shit, what am I going to do? Might as well give up. But in this essence, I had to go, okay, so the thought was this. Okay, I no longer have a job. What am I going to do? Just got to give up or whatever. So the thought then becomes that of, oh no, the world's going to end, whatever. So I thought really negatively about it. Could have gone off the rails. Didn't do it too much, which is good. You then got to look at what the facts are. Okay, cool. So obviously lost my job. What I did was I went down the road to the gym I currently work out of and just said, right, essentially I need somewhere to bring my clients, because I still had all of my clients to still look after, and figure that sort of thing out. So it was a case of, right, phone everyone up. It's the situation. I no longer work at this gym. I'm moving here. What do you want to do about it? Or I'm moving here. What time do you want to book in? Sort of thing. So it was very much I had to react very quickly to that situation. And that wasn't easy. But in the past, I would have been like, fuck, what do I do? And this time it was like, right, I have no option but to do what I need to do to survive and to make sure I can keep my business moving forward and keep the people that I'm looking after moving forward. So those were the facts. The fact was I just had to find something else and then deal with it. I didn't really have time to react. It was like, right, that's the decision I need to make. And then if they said no, I'd have to figure something else out. So what if I lost all my clients? Well, wouldn't be very good. But what if I didn't? And that's the thing, because especially like in that sort of thing where everyone could have turned around and said, oh no, we're not moving gym. I think I lost about 20%, which still hit me, but it wasn't as bad. And then it's looking at it going, oh, I must be all right on what I do if everyone's following me, down the road, or it's about 10 minutes away. To go there, no questions asked. Everyone was like, yeah, see you there. What are the details? So looking at that and being like, okay, so there's actually a lot of positives to that, because it's realizing that people aren't at the gym for me, but they're come with me because they like me and not, the gym I was at, sort of thing. So looking at it in that essence is good. Positive reframe, kept most of my clients, moved gym, better gym, personally. In terms of equipment, better results, put it in that sort of sense as well, especially when I was trying to like sell them on my idea. Quieter gym, better equipment, better vibe. Didn't have to pay for parking, better park, like loads of benefits, rather than being like, oh well, you got to move gym, you got to walk, you might have to get the train, might have to get, like there's too many negatives. So again, positive reframe, and then putting that on it more than anything. So in and out of my control was obviously I couldn't control the situation. I could control what I could say about it. I couldn't control the outcome. I could control how I reacted. I reacted okay. I didn't go off the rails, as I said, which is really good. And then the only thing I could control was going down to that gym and saying, okay, can I essentially just pay you the money that I was paying them? Train my clients and just get on with it. And they said yes. Okay, that's in my control, and I could control what I did with my clients and how I just reacted in my day-to-day life. Because unfortunately, life doesn't stop when shit gets hard. Like the world just moves on. So looking at it in that sense worked for me. And the benefits, were like, again, better equipment, better gym, fresh start away from, whatever was going on at the previous place. Just more people to interact with, quieter gym so I could actually get on with training and stuff like that. Like, it's not more independent, so the people care a lot more. So there's a lot of benefits to actually moving and being in that situation. And, pretty much as everyone has stayed with me since, which has been really powerful for me. So that would be sort of my example. And there's loads of ways you could do it. So it could be relationships, it could be work, it could be holiday stuff, it could be whatever. It's like, okay, well, what if I go and start my business? Okay, what if you don't? What if I go and do this? Well, what if you don't? What if this goes wrong? Well, what if it doesn't? What if I can't lose weight? Well, what if you do? What if I can't commit for 6 months? Well, what if you do commit yourself for 6 months? It's always flipping the narrative. So, and that can be anything. Like another example, when we went into lockdown, I wasn't on furlough because I was working shifts for the gym, which were like 10 hours a week. Didn't get paid enough from the gym. Lost loads of clients. Could have sat there and just been like, I just play PlayStation for 2 weeks. Because that's all lockdown was meant to be. A year later, had to rebuild my business twice. Decided to get in shape instead of just sitting around because I was overweight anyway. And then changed my life from there. So, that was reframing. Or I could have sat there and went, oh, well, I just feel sorry for myself, claim benefits, and really complain that everyone else is the problem. Which doesn't work. But yeah, I really hope this training was helpful. And all I want you to do with this is actually just fill these things out, apart from this one. So what is before? Write everything down. Don't have to share it. What are the facts? And then you can cross everything off. So it's like, right, weather's crap. Okay, well, that's a fact. And a thought. Okay, what can you do about it? What if it doesn't rain? What if you don't get that wet? There's loads of things you can do with this. And then, yeah, that will be really powerful for you if you can actually implement it. And let me know how you get on. And if you need anything else, let me know.